I'm excited. Today I'm here with Roberto, and we've been working together for a few months now. So he's been so kind to share what we've been doing together. And so, what made you want to work together? Because I know you were already doing quite a lot with your Italian when
hmm
we first met.
So I saw one of your videos on, I think it was Facebook or one of the other social media platforms, and you said something to the effect that if you can understand what I'm saying, but you have difficulty speaking because you feel blocked, then you already have a good level of Italian, and I can help you. So that's where I felt like I was at, that I had a good understanding when I would listen to like YouTube videos or music or even some TV shows. But when I would go to talk to somebody, I would get super nervous and then feel like I was blocked and I couldn't actually project what I actually knew
Mm.
in terms of grammar and vocabulary. So that's why I started the course.
So you were understanding, but you were not speaking.
Right.
When you say you were understanding and not speaking, could you give an example what would happen to you in a conversation?
Well, I would just get really nervous. And so,
Yeah.
when you start to get in that fight or flight mode, you don't think anymore. And so I would just start talking English or talk half English, half Italian, depending on who I was talking to. But mostly it would just get nervous. And then I felt like I didn't know anything.
And that's very normal, by the way. I am sure many people have experienced that. I myself have done that
hmm
when I was learning my own languages. But okay, fast forward a few
hmm
months now. What do you think has changed for you through the work we did together?
So before I met you, I was trying to make some videos in Italian to practice speaking at least 10, 15 minutes a day. But a lot of times I would speak on things that I was comfortable with, and I would always double check before I would make the video. With now, I feel like with the topics that we were talking about throughout probably 6 months, I think we worked together about 6 months. I feel like now I have acquired some new vocabulary just through without even trying, to
Mhm.
be honest with you. And so if I were to say some big wins, I'm a physician. I do have some patients that are Italian origin, and I will start my a few appointments just with just basic greetings and stuff in Italian where I would never do that before. And I've met several Italian people through Facebook and Instagram. In fact, I met a gastroenterology resident in Italy who told me if I want to practice speaking with him, this was just yesterday, we could call through video chat.
Oh my
So,
god, I
so
didn't know that! I'm
I know.
so excited.
So I am gonna take him up on the offer. I told him I was a little nervous, but he's like, sometimes we just have to move out of our own comfort zone. And I said, you know what, you're probably right. So my plan is, because Christmas is coming up, I have an uncle in Italy. I am going to call him that day. That was my goal, so I'm doing it. Buon Natale, e volevo dirti che ce l'ho fatta. Ho chiamato mio zio stamattina e sono molto contento. And then I will probably talk to this guy too a couple times and keep progressing.
Gosh, I didn't know that. That was a surprise for
I-
me too, guys.
yes. Well,
Right.
it just happened. It just happened yesterday. He reached out to me because he saw one of my videos on Instagram,
Yeah,
and he said, if you ever need somebody to practice with, I'll be happy to practice with you. Well,
sure.
he's in residency to be like a specialist for gastroenterology, and so we're both doctors, so we have stuff in common.
Yeah,
So
100%. And I do remember that was a goal of yours to actually be able to talk about these things as well, related to your work and with your
yes,
patients and stuff, wasn't it? So yeah,
yes.
take that up.
So exactly. So that's getting better. And I feel like I am less nervous. Like I do have some patients that are probably the same level as me in Italian. So every time we see them out or saw them at a Christmas party lately, we start talking in Italian a little bit. So it's like I would never have done that before.
Yeah, I remember you were very nervous about that.
hmm
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy for you, honestly.
I know. You helped me give me like a new perspective on, really like nobody's really judging you if you're speaking. It's like it's the communication part that's more important. And getting your point across, which I feel like I can pretty much do. We're harder on ourselves with the grammar and stuff, but I realize I don't even speak English with perfect grammar all the time because sometimes I have a kind of, my mind kind of goes quicker than my words, but people still understand what I'm trying to say. So,
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that. I really
hmm
appreciate it. I do remember there have been a few times throughout the journey we did together that you had the few realization, some you just said, but
hmm
I remember, I think it was like week 4 and 5, you shared in a group chat
hmm
that you woke up and you were thinking in Italian. Do you remember that?
yes, I actually had that a few times where I had sort of like a dream in
Yes.
Italian. Yes, so that's happened a few times. I always like when that happens because I know like my mind is still like learning when I'm sleeping. So
Yeah.
that's happened a few times.
Yes.
That would be, I guess, one breakthrough. But I think the other breakthrough that I've had is that like I do try to make it a part of my everyday life to do something or
You do.
um, and especially with your program, like you gave us a deadline to answer, but I would always try to do it a couple days ahead of the deadlines. And I thought, oh, you would only follow up with one follow-up question, but as long as I kept responding, you would send me more questions back. So I learned to realize that the more I just interacted with you, I would get more of a response. Probably I could have interacted with the group a little more, but I found that because of work and stuff, it was hard to interact
Yeah.
with the group. But with your program, you can do it, on your free time. It's not like a time boundary or anything like that. So,
Yeah. Despite time zones, we can do that.
despite time zones, we can do that. And I know because I think we're 5 or 6 hours difference. So I know when you're not going to respond right away because you're sleeping, but I'll still send my answer at that time. And then I know
Mhm.
the next morning, it was almost like clockwork. I could hear my phone with the responses back. So
Yeah. Yes. It's funny because when I sent, probably not for you because you wake up quite early,
early,
uh,
yes.
but most students in the US they get the response as soon as they wake up.
Yeah.
Uh, but probably you get my response when you just woke up, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I get up at like 4 in the morning. So yeah,
Yeah.
before I go
Um,
to the gym, I send my response. So
yeah. No, I like because it became part of your routine really. So you knew
hmm
when you were doing it and you were keeping at it, as you said.
yes,
Yeah, I could see you were sending responses because this is how actually the program work. Because
yeah,
I want students to do it because I know
hmm
if they do it, they keep on doing the training and they speak, they will get
hmm
to the point where they will feel more at ease. So the more they do it, the better they become. This is why I keep on asking more questions.
no, and that's good because I did learn some like
Yeah.
idiomatic expressions and stuff to kind of more colloquial ways of saying things. And then the one thing you had mentioned is to try to, if you don't know how to say something, try to reword it in a way you already know,
Mm.
which was helpful. And I found like as the program went on, it took me less time to like prepare the answers. So, which
Mm.
was good. And sometimes, I mean, not a lot, but as I did do spontaneous answers, which I was at work and between patients, so I would just say, I'm going to answer this question now. And I think that was a big step for me because usually I don't want to make mistakes, but I felt like it was just the best to make the mistake if I had to, because then I would learn from it better.
That's
So,
it. And I know this is something you were struggling for since the beginning because I remember you used to check things
hmm
off Chat GPT a lot, didn't you?
hmm yes.
And then Chat GPT would say something, and then you're like,
Yeah, but
"Do you say that?" Well, actually, you can say both. Um,
right, exactly. That's the thing I learned about that too. It's that they might push a certain way because that's the way that program was taught, but there are multiple ways to say the same thing and it's still right. So,
yeah, and at the end of the day, you just need to find how you would say it,
hmm
Roberto,
yeah.
your Italian voice, how you would say it, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the time it's correct too, you know? So
hmm
it's about trusting yourself, which you're doing, which is good.
hmm
If someone is watching you and say, okay, I like you, I understand but I can't speak. I would like to do this program, but I'm not so sure. What would you say to them?
I would say that the program is very flexible and it will get you to improve your spoken Italian. A lot of it is because of the flexibility, and you will have plenty of opportunity to respond to questions on different topics that will naturally expand your vocabulary, um, and get you to improve your Italian, whatever level you're at. So I did find like I learned a lot of questions because I'm a physician, so healthcare system, I'm more comfortable talking about that. And then just certain, because I seem to talk about my family a lot, so I was able to expand on that vocabulary there too.
Yeah, and it's really about your life. So
Hmm.
whatever it is you are willing to talk about,
Hmm.
you talk about because you learn to express yourself what happened in your life, right?
Hmm. And that's the
So
difference between like these apps, like, like Duolingo and stuff. They teach you these phrases and stuff, but it might not pertain to you. So, and a lot of it doesn't even pertain to like regular spoken language, but they're good to teach you some vocabulary. But you said you want us to be able to speak about the things that interest you. So that's what this program was good for. So,
yeah, and it's also about be also confident so that you not afraid, even though you may not be perfect.
right. No, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm honestly very happy to have worked with you because you brought a lot to this program because I know that for you learning Italian is very important and you
Hmm.
show that, and I really appreciate when people bring their passion into learning my language, and so that in the end it showed itself in the result that you got, so I'm very happy for you. And by the way, you didn't say, but do you want to share why you're learning Italian?
Oh yes, because my parents are no longer living, unfortunately, but my dad was from Italy, and they never spoke to us when he immigrated to Canada. I'm Canadian, so I think when I grew up, he didn't think I really cared about the Italian culture and stuff. They sent me to Italian lessons. I didn't really like pay attention. I mean, I was 11 years old. I had other things on my mind to do. But I still have an uncle in Italy. There were some young kids I remember I met when I visited there. So it was important for me because I want to go back maybe next year and be able to experience the culture in a different way and speak with people. So that's why it's important to me. And I'm still connected with I mean, they're all 50 years old like me now, but I met them when I was 17. And in fact, one girl saw my video and she's like, "Oh, you spoke perfect." And I was like, "Well, I should be. I'm taking enough lessons." So, but anyway, the perfect is not the important part, but she understood me and it was clear. And because when I was there, I remember I could hardly communicate with them. So now it's a little different. So,
Yeah, it's a little different now.
mhm.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask was, it's did a lot of speaking, right? But some people may think, okay, did you actually enjoy doing that, or was it something like that? It was hard to do. How would you describe? Or it was like a more of a mixture.
I think at the beginning, sometimes when I was getting topics or you would ask me questions that I was not familiar with, it was a little harder. Um, but as it went on, I tried to use your technique to like say it in a way I already knew the words to, and it got a little easier. I think by the end, I could I could have a question answered like relatively quickly with something that was like pretty good. So, well, as we continue, because I am continuing, I want to be able to just answer them a little more spontaneously. I mean, I still prepared a little bit for the questions, but I think that'll just take a little more time.
But I do believe that from the beginning, your questions are not as prepared as they used to, aren't they?
No, no, definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like the difference from
Mm.
sometimes it's fun. I don't know if you've done it already, but sometimes what I do is I go back to the very first message that the student sent me
Oh, yeah.
to
Well,
see.
actually, I scrolled back to all the messages through Telegram, and this was actually, it was probably at the end of summer, and I started to like, because you would always put some like expressions that so I wrote them down in the book because you have your little videos for grammar and stuff that you could go if there was something that you're struggling with. So I still plan to like review some of those too. But for the most part, I feel like you can pick up some of that stuff with the natural conversation, and it's not as difficult anymore.
Yeah. And I do think that when that happens through the natural conversation, it sticks to you most because it's part of an interaction rather than just something passive that you saw written somewhere without
Yeah,
context, you know?
yeah. Even doing exercises, I mean, you might be able to do all the exercises, but then you can't like apply it in a conversation.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where a lot of the other programs kind of fail because you might understand how to do past tense or something, but then when you go to speak it, you don't know, well, how do I apply it or, you know.
Yeah. It's really about the application so that the expressions of yourself through Italian comes out. And
Hmm.
that came out for you!
Hmm.
Right. Okay. I want to thank you so much for sharing your story.
Well, thank
Is
you.
there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that, I mean, like I said, if anybody is thinking about doing the program, it's definitely worth it. You definitely will improve. You might even want to do it again, like I did, and I'm doing it for a third time.
She's been
So,
through that.
because it really does help, and it keeps Italian part of your daily life. And I mean, that's really the only way you're going to improve is through immersion, which is what you kind of simulate immersion through daily conversations and multiple questions and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, we do talk a lot. And it's been a
mhm.
pleasure.
It
So
has. It's
if
very good.
you who is watching is thinking of apply to work with me, please do so.
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave a link below in the description of this video or wherever you find it on social media. You can fill in the application form and we can have a chat to evaluate your level and see if this might be for you. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one, baby. Ciao!